And welcome to the channel, or welcome back to the channel, depending on who you are. My name is Sam, and I sometimes use my cat's name to play Pokemon on the internet. I'm very excited today. Why am I excited? I hear you all ask. Well, I'll tell you why I'm excited. I am excited because the VBA is back. The VBA is back, and I could not be happier because it is awesome. If you don't know what the VBA is, I'll explain it in a moment, but it is essentially a VGC Draft League, which I am a part of. I was part of last year. We were the regular season champion. We played as the Sussex Sableyes. I said we, it was me, really. But we, as a channel, played as the Sussex Sableyes. And we finished the regular season with 10 wins and 0 losses. We then won our way through the playoffs to the final, where we stopped winning and we lost to Theo. So we came runner-up, which was not bad, considering it was the first time I've ever played Draft League of any kind. So I was pretty happy with that. Only this year, I'd quite like to do one better, although I think it will be harder this year. Now everyone's got a bit more experience and a bit more kind of nous about them, but we're going to give it a go anyway. As you can see just down there, we are no longer going to be the Sussex Sableyes. The Sussex Sableyes went 10-0 in the regular season, and so I've decided to retire the name, and the franchise has now moved to the Diceroll Drilburs. The Diceroll Drilburs have an interesting characteristic about them, which is that we are going to be randomly dice rolling all of our picks, but I'll explain it all in a minute. But basically, the idea is we're going to be dice rolling our picks, and I think it's going to be really fun. But before we get to that, I will just explain what the VBA is and what a VGC Draft League is for those of you who don't know. If you don't want to know that bit, then you can just kind of skip forward a little way. I'll maybe put like a timestamp on here or something. I don't know. But yeah, what is the VBA? Well, I'll tell you. As I mentioned, the VBA is a VGC Draft League. VGC, pretty easy to explain. It's a format of playing Pokemon where you and your opponent play a best-of-3 set. Within that set, you're allowed to bring 6 Pokemon, and for each individual match, you bring 4. It is a doubles style of play, so you have 2 Pokemon each on the field at all times. And yeah, that's essentially VGC. A Draft League is something a little different. So in the same way you Americans have your drafting for sports and stuff like that, which we Europeans don't understand because, well, we don't, but hey, good on you guys, we love you, so it's fine. Basically, at the start of each season, we have 11 slots to fill. I'm pretty sure it's 11 slots to fill. If it's not, Rhett will tell me off, but I'm pretty sure it's 11. We have 11 slots to fill. They are split into different tiers. So we have a Gigantamax tier, we have a tier 1, which is, so Gigantamax tier is obviously any Pokemon that can Gigantamax. You can pick anything to put in that tier. Tier 1 is basically the best Pokemon in the VGC format, or Pokemon that the organisers consider to be right at the top, the best Pokemon you can pick. You're allowed 1 of those. Then you're allowed 2 Pokemon from Tier 2, which is the next one down, 2 from Tier 3, and then 1 from Tier 4. And then you have 4, I think that makes, yeah, hang on, Gigantamax, Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3, Tier 4, and then 4 free picks. Yeah, so then you have 4 free picks, which are used using a combination of points to make sure you can't pick overpowered Pokemon. You can maybe pick, for example, a Tier 1 Pokemon, a Tier 2 Pokemon, and 2 Tier 4 Pokemon, or 1 Pokemon from each tier, or 2 Tier 1 Pokemon and 2 Tier 4 Pokemon. There's various ways of doing it, but that's essentially it. You're effectively given a certain number of slots to fill with Pokemon of a certain caliber, and you have to create the best team possible from that. The catch obviously being that there are also 15 other players who want to use those Pokemon too. So the draft takes place by starting with the person who's given pick number 1, who's randomly allocated pick number 1, all the way down to pick number 16, and then back up again until the rosters are filled. Pretty simple. What I'll do is, I'm pretty sure that the organisers are going to be doing a video explaining what it is for some of the new coaches and for those of you who just want to follow along. So if that's out by the time I post this video, I'll put a link down there. If not, I'll try and, or maybe up there, I don't know, maybe somewhere there'll be a link, maybe, if it's out. And if not, I will try and put it in the description once it is available. So yeah, that's essentially what it is. It's, in my opinion, the best format of playing Pokemon. It's fantastic. It means there's no such thing as a bad Pokemon in Draft League. Everything has a role to play. Everything has a slot to fill. And it's really, really great because it means everyone has to be really creative with their sets because you know exactly what your opponent can bring. You have every piece of information available to you for what they could do. What you've got to do is try and figure out a team that can beat anything that they could do, or figure out a strategy that they never expect you to pull off. It's just fantastic. I really love it, and it really got me back into playing competitive Pokemon again, having taken a kind of a break from it. So what I'll do now is I'll move on and explain to you how my team's going to work this year. What are the Diceroll Drilburs? What are we going to do? And why am I doing it? So yeah, let's get on to that just now. So, as I mentioned, I love Draft League Pokemon. I didn't know how much I was going to love it, but I absolutely love it. It's been fantastic. I enjoyed it so much. Win or lose, it's just the most fun way of playing that I've found, certainly. And so, one of the reasons, or the main reason I found that so much fun is because of the Pokemon I got to use. Like, a lot of the coaches were discussing the other day my use of Whiscash. Whiscash was a tier 4 Pokemon in the draft, and I brought it all the time. It was fantastic. It was considered to be like a really nothing pick, but it was great. It was one of the most amazing Pokemon. I also got to use things like Barbaracle. I never brought the Lurantis, but I drafted Lurantis, which was really cool. Miltank, as well as like pairing those with things like my higher tiered picks like Venusaur and Tornadus and Mimikyu and Rotom Heat, Pokemon like that. Like it was just so much fun. But like I said, the most fun I had was getting to use Pokemon I've never used before, right? Like I've never used hardly any of these Pokemon, and it was absolutely fantastic. I loved it so much. As such, I decided that considering I'll never probably ever be able to go 10-0 again, I'll never be able to top that, I decided I was going to have some fun with this and dice roll my Pokemon. If I'd have won the final, I think I would have dice rolled every single Pokemon. But since I didn't win the final, and I'd quite like to try and get there again and win this time, I'm only going to dice roll almost all my Pokemon. I'm going to keep some that I can pick to try and get some team synergy. And as you can see from the diagram just here, this is how it's going to work. So I am going to dice roll all of my predetermined picks. The Gigantamax, Tier 1, Tier 2s, Tier 3s, Tier 4s. I'm also going to dice roll the order that I pick those in and my second trade, which means I am able to choose for myself all of my free slot Pokemon. So I'll get to pick 4 Pokemon, and then I also get to choose which Pokemon I trade for the first time I trade and the third Pokemon that I trade. You're allowed 3 throughout the first half of the season, I believe, unless the admins are going to change those rules. So I'll also be able to choose when I use my free slots, but I'll go into detail on that a bit more. So the idea of this is basically the bulk of my team, I do not get to choose. I get given random Pokemon and I have to try and use them and try and test myself and have as much fun as I can using those Pokemon, right? But I'll also have 4 slots to back those Pokemon up. So I can try and get some synergy. For example, let's say I was able to, my first pick that was chosen for me is a Alolan Ninetales. I might want to use one of my free slot picks on my second draft turn to pick someone that can help abuse the hail, for example. Once that slot's gone, obviously, I then only have three more picks I can choose. Again, for example, if I was able to draft Regigigas, maybe I would want to try and draft Weezing or something like that. So that's essentially how that's going to work. I think it will be really fun. I think it's going to be such a brilliant way of doing things. And what I'll do in just a second is we'll switch over some screens and I'll try and kind of go a bit more in depth into how that's going to work. I was a bit concerned about this because I thought maybe people would think it's me being like, stupid or silly. But I want you guys to know it's not about that. It's genuinely about me having as much fun as possible. Like, if we'd have done Draft League with just VGC viable mons and each week we had a VGC competition and we played with the regular VGC Pokemon, I'm sure that would have been fun because all the coaches are great people. They're really fun. I've made some really great friends doing this. But it wouldn't have been as great. It just wouldn't have been as great. Like what was so great was sitting with Rhett, who I prepped with, or my brother, the times when I had to play Rhett, and looking at it and saying, right, you know what? If I bring Special Whiscash with Ice Beam, no one's going to expect that. If I put Leer on Tornadus, no one's going to expect that. All of this kind of stuff. If I put a choice band here or a weakness policy here, or I do this or do that, or maybe I'll lead with this and I'll go for Trick Room and they'll never expect it. I just loved it. It was so much fun. And part of that was because of all these Pokemon I'd never ever used before. Like I said, the Whiscashes, the Barbaracles, Turtonator's a good friend of mine, but it's that kind of thing, right? So that's why I want to do this. And I'm going to explain to you now a little bit about how it's going to work. All right then, so as again you can see on the screen, for those of you who prefer a bit of visual learning, this is how it is going to work. I've had a couple of chats with Rhett about this, and I've tried to work out which method might suit this the best. And this is what I've come up with. So, first of all, every dice roll pick that I do will come in 2 separate stages, right? So there are 5 different tiers. There's Gigantamax, Tier 1, 2, 3, and 4, all right? So, because I'm going to be nice and confusing, Tier 1, roll number 1, will be Gigantamax. Tier 2 will be Tier 1, 3 will be Tier 2, and so on in that fashion. And obviously, once I've used up the picks for that tier, I will just re-roll if I get one of those. So, For example, for you, if I roll the number 3, that will be tier 2. And if I then roll the number 16, I will draft the Pokemon Braviary using the old tier list, which I understand is going to be updated. Right. How am I going to do this, I hear you ask? Well, since I'm insane and have decided that this is what I'm doing, and I mentioned it before, so I'm committed to it, what I'm going to do once the tier list comes out this weekend is I'm going to put all the Pokemon into a spreadsheet. I'm going to take them all, and if the admins already have a spreadsheet and they want to send it to me, my email address is available, and you will have me on Discord, so thanks, that would be great. If they don't have a spreadsheet for this already, I'll do it myself, and I'm going to put them all down there, so I'll know, okay, I've rolled number 3, which means I'm in tier 2. I know there are 140 Pokemon in tier 2, and so I'll roll the dice. And if the Pokemon has already been picked from that tier, then obviously I'll just re-roll again. I'm just going to use a regular online randomizer. I'll have them all set up, I think, on a web browser so that I'll know which tier I need to go to. So that's how I'm definitely going to do my first pick. So, for example, that's it. I'm going to, my first pick, I roll number 3, so I've got my tier 2, and I've got my roll number 16, so I've got my Braviary. What I can then do when it comes back round to my turn is I can then choose, okay, do I want to dice roll again, or do I want to use one of my free picks? All right, I'm going to allow myself to use my free picks at any time that I want, as long as I don't use 2 in a row. I'm not going to let myself use 2 or more free picks in a row, unless it's like right at the end, of course. So basically, for example, my first turn, I draft Braviary, and I think, well, you know what? There isn't anything in particular that I really want to pair with Braviary, so I'm just going to dice roll my second pick as well. Equally, I might roll my first pick, it's Braviary, and I think, oh, you know what? Such and such a Pokemon that I really like or I really want to use is still free, so I'm going to use my free pick for it. Alternatively, again, like I mentioned before, oh, my first dice roll, I've rolled Regigigas. Well, I better pick a Weezing or something, to help that out. I would then have to, if I use my free pick, I would have to use a dice roll afterwards. But if I go 2 dice rolls in a row, I can then use my free pick, or I can go dice roll, free pick, and so on. It's pretty simple, I think. Yeah. So then the other thing to bear in mind, if you are going to follow along with this, which by the sounds of it, a lot of you seem quite excited for, which is really cool. I'm going to have a bit of a difference in trade. So my first trade, I'm going to allow myself to pick. Okay, so I'm going to pick trade number 1, which could just maybe help me that if the draft does turn out really badly for me because of this stupid method I'm using, then maybe I can help correct it. But trade number 2, will be randomized. So using the same method again, like let's say I drafted Braviary, but I didn't want it anymore. I would use my trade to trade Braviary, and to do it, I would randomize again which available Pokemon left from tier 2 I would trade Braviary for, and then trade 3 I will allow myself to choose as well. The idea is that we're going to have a bit of fun, but also try and remain like relatively competitive. Going to try and remain competitive. That's the idea. So yeah. All right, there we have it, kids. That's the plan. That's what we're going to do. I'm hoping it's going to be really fun. I'm sure it is. I'm sure it's going to add a bit of spice to my Draft League journey this year. If you're not already, come and join the Draft League Discord, and also come and join the Ruby Isles Discord. I'll link both down below. Come and follow me on Twitch. I'll link that down there as well. And, like and subscribe. All that stuff that I always forget to say. Have a wicked day. The draft takes place in, I think, like a few weeks' time, or 2 weeks' time, or some weeks' time. The draft is soon. The tier lists come out this weekend, so I'll be really excited to see that. But I'll be playing in the Players' Cup, I think, so I won't be able to give it my full attention straight away. But it's going to be great fun. So thank you very much for watching if you've made it to the end, and I'll see you all soon. Bye.